Hi guys, welcome back to Astrophotography Quest. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you just how to process, well, this kind of cruddy image. As you can see, the stars are kind of trailed in here, and you're going to hear my birds in the background because they love the chirp. And as you can see, there is some trailing in this image. You can definitely see it with some of those fainter stars. My birds really like me talking. And you can barely see some detail. Oops, what happened? Okay, there we go. You can barely see some detail on bodes right here. So yes, that is the target we're editing today. You can barely see some detail, but what we want to do first to this kind of image is you first want to stretch it just like all the other images. So we'll duplicate that layer. But first, stretch. And what we're going to do with this first stretch is I'm going to first do it first curves. And we're just going to brighten it up just a little bit like that. Maybe I should zoom in a little more here so you can see bodes. So we're going to brighten that up just a little bit here, and we're going to click OK. Do it again. Just a little bit. So, click OK. Now what we want to do is we want to duplicate it again. We're going to create a color balance model. So for the color balance, first of all, we want to add a threshold layer. This will determine the brightness and however much we detect via the pixels. I'm going to turn it up to about right there. As you can see, there's a lot of washout with the rest of the image. That's going to wash out bodes. You see, we don't have very much of bodes before it gets totally filled. But we will fix that once we go to subtract the background. So what we're going to do is brighten this up. About right there is good. We're going to do an eyedropper tool, color sampler tool. And I'm going to zoom in on one of the stars here. I'm just going to pick this one right here. Is good. Looks about center. Then I'm going to pick like a little bit of this darker space. Okay. So now we can delete the threshold. Now what we're going to do is now we can actually do a color balance. So I can do Control L for levels, or you can just go to Image Adjustments Levels. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to adjust this to be pretty much all the same for the red, green, blue, and the whites, and the red, green, blues on the darks. So I'm going to pick the lowest number from here, which is 83. But I could probably go down to 50. Let's just go down to 50 for the darks. And then for this one, we'll keep it at 52. Alright, so for the red, I'm going to bring this up to 52. This might take a minute because color balancing, you kind of have to fiddle around with it a little bit to get it perfect. Let's try 252. There we go. Alright, now we can do a green. Wait a minute, no, first we have to keep on doing red. And I have to adjust the black point real quick. Try 50. Let me increase this a little bit. There we go, that works. And then for the green, I'm going to decrease this a little bit. What this is going to basically do with the balancing is it's going to allow some more detail to come out. Not 100%, but it's going to allow some more detail to come out in the galaxy to showcase more. There we go. You see that they're up down to 51. And we're 255, let's try 254. Okay. It's not going to be perfect. I will note it's just not going to be perfect. We're just going to keep it at there. And then we're going to do some blue. We're going to bring the black point down to 50. A little bit more here. 50. And then we're going to keep this. Oh, I guess 251's fine. Who cares? So, now we can click OK. And you can see we can barely see just a little bit more detail on bodes. And also the Cigar Galaxy, you can see some detail on it too. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we'll close this info panel here, or you just make it swipe away. What we're going to do is, actually we can do another stretch. So we're going to duplicate the layer and call it second stretch. Do Control M, which means curves. Or you can just go to Image Adjustments and Curves. We're going to brighten this up some more. Let's just keep it a little bit. Okay. As you can see now, gradients forming. We have some weird things going on up here. Some green gradients forming. So we're going to have to do a background subtraction. About right there is good. Eventually, you'll also want to make sure the core doesn't overblow, but that's not happening yet, so we don't need to worry about that yet. All right, what we're going to do now is, I think we got enough stretching for now. What we can do is now we can finally do our background removal. This is probably one of the funnest parts of the whole thing because you get to actually get rid of the gradient. It makes me relieved anyway. So we're going to do a background removal here. In order to do a background removal, first you got to copy your layer that you're currently on, so the newest layer you have, and then we're going to go to New, File New, and we want to create this. This is already preset because we copied it, so we don't really need to do anything now. And 60, that's fine. Okay, create. Now we'll want to say Control V or Edit Paste. That will bring in our image. Now we'll want to go to Filter Noise, Dust and Scratches. Okay, so the radius is basically I'm not going to turn the threshold here because for some reason it always showcases the when we're going to use the spot healing brush tool, it always showcases the edges where the spot healing brush tool was used. So I'm not going to actually turn up any threshold because I really just don't feel like I need to, or feel like it does anything good for me anyway. So let's just turn up the radius a little bit here. There we go. Looks good. Now we're going to click OK. I think that's good here. There we go. I think that looks good. Okay, now we can do a spot healing brush tool to remove the galaxies. Actually, there's still a little bit of stars here. Maybe we'll do a little bit more. So we can just do filter noise, dust, and scratches just a little bit more, I'd say here. Just because I did that a little wrong. Let's just make sure all the galaxies are visible. That looks good. That'll work. As long as the gradient doesn't change. Okay. So we can now enter spot healing brush tool. That's way too big, so we'll take it down a little bit. Bring it up a little bit there. I usually like to just bring it up to about the same size as the galaxy because I'm kind of lazy that way. Alright, so we'll just do 603 pixels. Is that fine? Yeah, that works. Okay. So maybe a little bit more. We'll do just to increase it. Now we'll dab over the galaxy, like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we can do a thing right there. And now what we can do, just do another one of these. Okay, that looks good. So what we're going to do now is what I can do. Okay, so we can just save this. So File, Save As, and I could save this as let's see here. I don't really. I always have trouble saving things for some reason, because I never know what to name. So we'll just name it. I know my files are a mess here. So background for M81. There's just I can never name it correctly because I'm very bad at naming things. I can never come up with a name apparently. All right, there's your background. Now we can go to image and apply image. This will basically allow us to apply the image here. So we're not going to do this one. We're going to do this one. Now we want to not multiply. We're trying to change the blending to subtract. And there we are. So now I can change the offset up a little bit. And 20. I think we're just going to do 60. Yeah, 60 looks pretty good. Yeah, let's do 60 here. There we go. Okay. Now that we got that, as you can see, we have a nice clean image now. As you can see, there's no more gradients or anything. And all the galaxies are still here. Now what we can do is I can duplicate this layer again. And we can call it, let's see what we want to call it. Same exact thing. Here we go again with the file naming. We're going to name this, just name it Final Stretch. It's fine. I don't really care anymore. Final Stretch. Control M. I'm all messed today, guys. So we're going to do a final stretch here. And first of all, I want to do a contrast curve. But actually, wait a minute. Before we do that, we're going to do a select color range. Select the core. Turn this down a little bit. About right there is good. Just make sure the core is selected. Now we'll do Control Alt R, or you can go to select, and mask. That's basically what it is. So Control Alt R. I just use a bunch of shortcuts here. Um, I find it to be easier. So I'm gonna do a little feathering here. Just gonna do about 6.4 is fine. There, as you see now, only the galaxy cores are selected. Okay, so what we're going to do now is say Control Shift I, which is I knew it was another shortcut. It's select and inverse. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is the curves again. So I'm gonna brighten this up here, dim out the background, and I'm gonna brighten this up slightly bit more. So there we go. That looks pretty good. See, I don't know if there's nebulae in here or not. I always have trouble seeing. I don't think there is, but it's hard to tell. I doubt it because I did not use an HL filter in the acquisitioning stage, so I don't think so. Okay, it looks pretty good right here. There we go. So we'll click OK. All right, there we go. So now we can say Control and D. That means deselect. So I think it's select. Is there deselect? Yeah, there is. Okay. Never really use the actual button. I just use Control D. Use all the shortcuts in the world. Okay, let's see. Final stretch. We might want to do one more curves. If I could try one more here. Just a little bit. That looks good. Okay. Now what we want to do is I want to do another color balance, but just to the galaxy. So we're going to call it color balance. Well, yeah, I guess it's fine with the same name. I guess that's fine. So we're going to do, just because I don't know really, I think it's Control B, but just to be safe. Yeah, color balance right here. So we're going to do image adjustments, color balance. This is basically going to allow us to add some cool texture or cool colors to the galaxy spiral arms here. So I'm just going to turn up the blue here. Turn up some cyans. Yeah. Maybe we can get rid of the background. I don't know. The background seems to be wanting to. I noticed that with shadows, the background really changes a lot. So I don't think I want to mess with shadows. Turn this up here. Turn this down. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. That looks pretty good. So yeah, I guess that's decent. We'll deal with the background later. Okay, so you see the spiral arms look pretty cool. Yeah, they're good looking. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a one more thing. So I'm gonna do Control Alt so levels, and we're just gonna dim this out just a slight bit more. Just get a darker background. About there, it looks good. Now we're gonna do the final sequence, which is actually doing a camera raw filter. So I'm just gonna say camera raw filter, CRF. It's another acronym. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna do filter camera off filter. Duh. Well, duh. I'm doing a camera off filter. Okay. Why did I name it that layer then? So let's see here. Let's turn up this. We don't want to turn it clear to 100%. As you can see, it makes it all noisy looking. We're gonna turn it up to about 40 is good. Texture a little bit more, maybe just a slight bit. For dehazing, definitely do not want to use that. Blacks, no thanks. We already have enough darkening from the levels. Can never get it perfect on here. That sucks. Bet you guys have maybe had some problems with that because it is so hard to move this slider once you try to get to 0. It's like you can never get to 0. Makes it a pain. Oh, of course, unless you have a mouse. If you have a trackpad, then it's different. Turn up some saturation here. Now, detail, I don't think we need noise reduction. We can maybe do a tiny bit of sharpening. Tiny bit more clarity. Looks good. Maybe some shadows. No. Yeah, no shadows looks like crap. So we probably just want to do 0 is good. Highlights, no. Well, yeah, we want highlights. No, we don't want highlights. I always like to mess with these. Just to see what they do. It's always good to experiment. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. So we can click OK. We went from this to that. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Okay. So I think that's about it. And maybe we can adjust the background a tiny bit more. But let's see if we can. So Control L. Let's see. There's a little too much blue. I just wanted to get rid of some of that red on the galaxy. There's way too much of it. I think that's fine. It's fine for now. I mean, technically, the whole goal of this video wasn't really to get color balance. It was really just to remove any gradients or pull out more detail. You want to pull out more detail. So that's the whole purpose of this video, not really color balance, but I mean, it just helps a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That was a fun little session we just had here. And I hope you get to come back and do another quest with me. An astrophotography quest, alright guys? So, hope to catch you in the next video. Hope to see you guys next time. I said that again. I keep saying that over and over. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and clear skies.